Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We have a very exciting video today because not only are we showcasing a bunch of profits that we took all in the last week, but I'm going to show you guys, as you guys saw in the title of course, when I like to take profits, and I'm going to explain it in a very easy way, I hope, because I'm trying to make this is a series where I make trading as easy as possible for you guys. So hopefully you get a lot of information from this, and I would like to say that even though we're going to be looking at two trades I've already taken, where the whole chart is already covered with not my technical analysis, but the trade we took, because this little thing, this green and red thing, for those of you who don't know, represents the trade. But the third one we're going to be looking at is actually right here, going up from this long zone, and I'm going to show you guys what a trade would have looked like even though I didn't actually take it. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of these profits real quick. This was almost $1,100 profit on SPY futures. This is with a Apex funded account. The next one, someone made $300 on our Chewy trade. All we were doing there is just buying Chewy shares. So it's a very, very easy one. This is my screenshot showing some profits that we made this month. And lastly, we got another member saying that he took a little over $100 today. Looks like $123 today with shares. I'm assuming he's talking about either Chewy shares or Petco shares because those were two of the bigger winners this week. We had many winners this week, but those were the most impressive ones. So with that being said, let's get right into this. I'll try and make this a pretty quick video for you guys. The first trade I'm going to look at here is Tesla calls. All we were doing is waiting for Tesla to close above this zone, just like my normal trading strategy. It's the same thing. So we waited for a move down into the zone, a close above, and we went long. Now, where did I know to take profits? Why didn't I just hold everything till the end? Because it did work out, but you can never be sure of that. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I find those places. So the first one you'll see right here, this blue line shows where I took my first batch of contracts out of the trade. It's here at 174.42, and that's because I saw a very nice rejection here, followed by a few below, and this one right above. So I could assume that an average would be a good idea. Now, yes, Tesla went flying right by it, but it's a very safe way to start out, just taking off a few of your contracts just in case Tesla would have rejected from there. We would have at least closed some of them in profit. Another thing I like to do is raise my stop loss all the way to break even once I take my first profit, and that way throughout the rest of the trade I cannot possibly lose money, which is really cool, and that's how I keep an extremely high win rate in my day trades. Now you can use this for any single trade, doesn't have to be a day trade, doesn't have to be options, futures, it can be anything. But this is just, what we're doing in this specific example. But yeah, I find that works great for everything. Now the second one, I had a better idea because we can see three rejections right next to each other. So I put it right there. This turned out to be extremely effective, and mind you that this trade was taken live on Discord. So yeah, it turned out to be very effective because pretty much as soon as we got here, we did see these rejections, and we saw actually a bunch of rejections from this line before finally popping above, and we closed out completely. Now you might be looking at this and saying, wait a minute, why didn't I just raise this a little bit more all the way up here before these rejections and take, maybe 10 or $20 more in profit, maybe even per contract. I don't even know, to be honest. But the short answer is yes, I probably should have done that in hindsight, but you can never know exactly what the stock is going to do, so I was happy with that much. I didn't think the Tesla would keep going up that quickly, but it looks like I was correct overall about once we got into this gap, we would see some rejections, and that is what happened here, here, and a pretty big one here, which would ascend to my contracts probably all the way back to break even. So just a couple things to think about there. Now the second trade is interesting. It's the same strategy because we're waiting for close below the zone, but here we're going short, and you'll notice I did not take full profit. So what does that mean? Well, all it really means is that after a second take profit, it went back to break even, But of course, like I said before, we do not lose money on these trades because we already hit the first take profit over here and we set our stop loss to break even. Now, how did we find these exact take profits and how did they work super effectively? Well, if we zoom out, in this case, zooming out will help a lot because you'll see exactly what I'm looking at. On the second take profit, which is probably the best one, we saw these massive rejections on Tesla prior to this, while on the first one, there wasn't a whole lot to go with. Honestly, like hardly anything, because here you can see there's not really anything to work with, but I had to do something, so I just chose a place with these three closes right next to each other. And that turned out to be very good. So I'm extremely happy with this trade. This was another one that was taken live, so that worked out very well. Now, I did promise you guys to do one that I didn't actually trade, so here's what it's going to look like. As we can see, SPY, we do have the zone on SPY, and you just find these zones by finding consolidations or rejections, and so our entries right here, because it closed above the zone, right? So we're going to go long from there, set our stop loss below the zone, like I did with this and this, so that if it goes below the zone, I get stopped out, and that's good because I don't want to be in the trade when it is below the zone. I'm no longer confident in that trade. And we're going to set our take profit realistically. I mean, yeah, you could set it all the way up here, but I probably would have done this much, and that's because we can see solid rejections here. So where would we have taken our individual profits? Well, the first one would probably look like this. I'm going to guess I would have gone right around here. For the first one, I like to do them pretty tight. And there's no exact reason for that besides just the fact that I raised my stop loss to break even, and I want to do that pretty early on in the trade. Now for the second one, let's copy over that line, and you can see actually copied pretty well. You can see this is another place where we have a lot of rejections, so it's a safe bet on our part. The last one, of course, is just going to be like I said before, this consolidation. So hopefully that made a lot of sense to you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And remember that if you're not already subscribed, I'm giving away multiple funded accounts this month of June, and hopefully more every other month. So definitely like and subscribe for that. And I have a Discord in the comment section or the description. Yeah, check the description instead, and it'll be linked in there. With that being said, have a great rest of your day.